Well, you guys, today I thought we would open up the boxes and go through everything I picked up from hitchweb.com and take a closer look at what it's going to take to install this 12,000 pound winch on the front of this van. We're gonna need this for sure. We got one more part of this project, and that's this great big thing right there. I have personally never touched a winch in my life. Looks like power cables. I'm guessing this is the unit that you use to make the winch work. Ooh, it sounds heavy. All right, I do know what this is. This is the front part of it. This thing. There you go, my friends. Buying things like this are way out of my league. I don't know anything about winches. I don't know much about recovering my vehicle when I get stuck, because I've been trying to keep myself out of those situations because I never had the recovery gear to shove myself that far deeper back in the bush and feel okay about it. Now that my van is lifted and we're putting a 12,000 pound winch on the front and our rear lockers going in the back pretty soon, because I have those things, I got a funny feeling I'm going to be shoving this thing a little bit farther back into roads that I would have normally turned around on. But when it comes to situations like this, where you need items to self-recover yourself instead of getting in a nasty situation, being stuck with no way to get out, you don't want that. So having all the tools you need when you're out there in the backcountry to at least try and get yourself out of that situation you got yourself into is just a good idea. And don't be afraid to ask questions, because I don't know anything about this stuff. So if you have a 4x4 buddy in your community, or a overland lady that's around you that's got one of these that can help you out, just ask questions. So I leaned on the crew at hitchweb.com, just awesome people. I got my roof rack system and stuff from them. So they always get mad at me when I don't reach out to them first. Seriously, when I buy something like, Chrome, why'd you buy that? Because they watch my channel. Like, why'd you buy that, Chrome? You should have called us. We sell a better version of that. So I've learned now to make them my first message anytime I ever need anything. So when I reached out to them and said, hey guys, I'm looking for a winch, they helped me out to get me the winch that I need. And you need to make sure you overpower the winch for your vehicle. So my vehicle is a little over 8,000 pounds. You don't want to buy an 8,000 pound winch. I think the rule is 1.5. So you take the weight of your vehicle and you need a winch that's another half of that weight bigger. So my van is 8,000 pounds. We got a 12,000 pound winch. And you always want to do a bigger one, because if you get out there and you have one that's underpowered, you're going to get yourself into trouble. And if your cable is underweighted for your vehicle and your cable snaps, then you injure yourself out there, or worse off. We don't want to talk about that ever happening, but you just want to make sure you have the right tools for the job in order to get yourself out safely. So ask questions. Don't be afraid to call the people that you know, your buddies, your friends, because I'm sure usually most people got somebody in their crew who's a bit into four-wheel driving. I got John here at J5. He's into like rock crawling on those little buggies. Or just reach out to the company that you're going to buy it from. So I went online and did some research, trying to find a creative way to mount the winch on the front of my vehicle without needing one of those really expensive custom bumpers. You can buy aluminum front bumpers, which are like 3,000, 4,000 US or something crazy, or you can buy like $1,000 steel one. And I didn't know if I wanted to go that route, because if I did a steel front bumper on the front, a black one, then I would need to change the chrome one on my back. Now that's a pretty hefty project. Even though it would be cool, I wasn't willing to spend that kind of money on my van, when ideally, I don't know if I would need I don't know what else I would need out of those bumpers. My bumpers, well, they do just fine. They're just there. So I was trying to find a way to be able to mount the winch on the front behind my bumper, because there's a fair amount of space behind there. So I went online and I found on the Sportsmobile forum a how-to video pretty much, you know, people showing how they've done theirs behind the same van that I have, and it actually works. Let me show you the pictures. If you take a look at this van, that's the same van as mine. It looks like a regular bumper, but if you look closely at it, you'll see there's a winch right there in the middle. Behind the bumper is a huge space when you take it off before the radiator. So here's what they did. I know this is a little bit hard to see, but they took a front hitch, mounted it right there, and put the winch on top of it. So there's a closer image of it. So if you look over there, I've got the front hitch and I've got the winch, and we're hoping to fit it back there, and the shackle come out from that hole there or the one below it or somewhere in the front. That's the plan anyway. Doesn't seem too crazy to do. There's a shot of just the trailer hitch on the front. And then J5 will probably build a plate on the top of that, mount the winch to it. And yeah, once it's all said and done, this should all ideally come out of there. I also got this front hitch from Hitchweb, hence the name Hitchweb. My only wonder is if this top piece here, that piece is gonna fit underneath all of that. Or I wonder if that piece comes off, because that's just a control center, like the electrical's in there. So we might be able to move that electrical off of there and move it somewhere else. That's why you hire a professional to install it, so you don't have to stress about things like that. The winch that I chose to go with was the Warren VR Evo 12. There's a number 12 on this side. They also make a 10 and an 8. Those numbers stand for how many thousand pounds that the winch is rated for. So mine's the 12,000 pound one. I'll leave the links to all this stuff in the description of this video here. I also went with the steel cable instead of the synthetic cable. I did a little bit of research online and I didn't quite get the answer that satisfied me inside, so I stuck with the classic steel cable. And if I do decide later on to go into a synthetic line, I'll do that at a later date once I get a little bit more experience with the winch. But when you do those things, always trust that feeling. Because when I was like, synthetic, it seems cool, seems nicer on the hand and seems whatever, but you've also heard stories on the other side of that that didn't make me feel so good either. So I went the good old classic way. Some of these kits are very expensive. Ah, awesome. It's all in one nice little heavy bag. Inside of this box is 2 3/4 inch shackles, a 17.6 thousand pound snatch block, whatever that thing is, a set of gloves, a 4 feet by 8 feet tree trunk saver, 3 feet by 30 feet recovery strap, and 6 feet choker chain with hooks. What those things are, I have no clue. This is awesome, you guys. I am super excited to learn how to use all this stuff. What I'll probably end up doing is at the very beginning, I'll go out and purposely get myself in some situations just so I can learn how to use all of this gear. That's the crazy thing about picking up stuff like this, is now you got to find room to fit this inside of a home that's already packed full. What I actually might do is go through my rooftop carrier and remove anything that I just haven't used in a while, because I know there is a few things up there we could probably easily get rid of, and make room for more important stuff. Because I find that space up there ends up becoming an attic where you just kind of huck things and forget about them, you know? In the van, it's always good to keep all the important stuff easy accessible. I'm excited to get started on that thing. The closer and closer I get to finishing off mine, the more excited I am about thinking about that one. That one's also going to get a huge winch on the front, but first I need to find somebody to custom design a back bumper and rack system for the back of it. It's gonna need a storage box, a spare tire holder. It stresses me out just to think about that one. Anyway, this project I am stoked over.